That's exactly why I want to ask you this.
Can I sit and listen? I'm going to.
Yeah,
is
my
that okay?
sister knew she wanted to be a vet from the time she was 3 years old, so she tuned her life to become a vet.
I had a dorky friend that knew he wanted to be an engineer when he was 5.
That's very.
And he was drinking coffee in the living room watching cartoons at 5.
And did he?
Drinking
He's a
coffee?
civil engineer.
Holy smokes! Well,
Wow.
I never knew what I
Scrub
wanted to
was
do, and I
definitely
still don't
started
know what I want to do.
I don't know. I just
At
kind of
5.
figured it out last year, in the last 2 years.
Yeah. So I don't know what I want to do.
Can I stay and listen?
Yeah, of course.
I'll
but
bother
it's,
me.
it's a terrible. I get requests to from school groups and whatnot. Oh, would you come and talk about your career path and inspire our students? I say no.
But it's so
I'm the
inspiring.
worst person in the world for that because I still don't know what I
It's
want
so,
to do.
but the reason why I want to talk about this, it is so inspiring, but not in the traditional sense. It's so inspiring because of how you came into this. So I'm here with Dr. McGill, one of my good friends, colleagues. We're here at SWIS 2023. It's about to be 2024. How you feeling today?
Fabulous.
You had a great lecture just about an hour ago. You killed it. I thought you were on like you always are. I wanted to ask Stu a couple questions, and I'm curious about them too. We're going to talk for about 10 minutes and keep it simple and light. Stu, a lot of people think in order to become successful, they have to know inherently when they're elementary school, middle school. Hell, I can remember when I was in high school and we had career days and stuff. I would just dick off and go hang out in the bathroom because I did not know what I wanted to do. So I didn't want to go over there and talk and say a bunch of things I didn't mean to these people trying to get me to be a fireman or go to welding school or any of those things. I don't think I figured out what I wanted to do until like the last couple of years. I think I know a little bit more. Some people think that you have to know right away, and then if you don't, you panic. It's like these people that graduate high school and they just make themselves go off to university and they end up floundering in a year or two. You definitely didn't have the most traditional path in becoming a professor and such a well-respected coach as you are and clinician. How did this happen? And when you were in high school, there's a lot of interesting things that happened. How did you get this position where you are now?
What a huge question. It's a combination of really good luck, meeting some very influential mentors at the right time in my life that guided me, and attitude, I would say, putting those three together.
When you say attitude, what do you mean?
I've always been a curious person, and I want to know how things work. And, my mother passed away, as you know, last year, and we went through her house, and I found all my old report cards. Going right back to the second grade, she'd kept them all. And
How'd we do?
oh, geez, it was... Stuart is continually disrupting the class, asking, well, can you prove that? How does this work?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'd spend more time tapping my pencil, looking out the window, thinking of, like you, I'd rather be outside than in this box. But it wasn't a malicious place where that came from. It was I was curious, and if you can't prove to me, then I'm a bit skeptical if it doesn't fit where my current thought and understanding or emotional state is. But I had some very influential mentors, and do you want to hear about
Absolutely.
that sort of
That's
path?
why you're here.
All right, well, now different groups will say, well, would you come and give a talk on your career path and inspire our students? And I say, no, I'm the worst example of someone who had a career path. Please don't ask me, and I'm going to decline.
CBD is 100% THC-free CBD isolate derived from hemp. There's no THC in our products. We have sublingual drops, and these are made with MCT oil and natural cinnamon and brand new strawberry flavor, which is our best seller. We also have balms in 4 different scents: lavender, sage, lemongrass, and natural. We'd like you to take some, use it 2 to 4 times a day, rub it on the affected, inflamed area, depending on how bad it's hurting or bothering you. We also have CryoFreeze, which is 1,000 milligrams of CBD isolate It's mixed with a menthol formula. People like using this post-workout. It's very effective. And use this 2 to 4 times a day depending on what you need. And lastly, we are super excited to announce our gummy line coming soon. Stay tuned for details. Thank you so much for supporting PowerX Strength CB.
And I went to University of Toronto, and the football coach said, "What do you want to take?" And I said, I really don't have any interest in it, but I didn't know about engineering and medicine and physics, or I couldn't learn this in high school. It was just gobbledygook to me. And then going to University of Toronto, I took a mathematics course. My next mentor appeared. It was a math teacher who said, you don't need to know what limits are to understand calculus. As water flows through a pipe and the diameter next down, the flow rate goes up and the pressure goes up. That's calculus. That flow rate was a function of diameter. In other words, one thing was changing as a function of something else. I said, you got to be kidding me. I can feel that in my hands. That's the magic of calculus? So I was unleashed.
I'm good at calculus.
Yeah. And it all came together for me. Then physics entered my world, and then biology and anatomy, etc. So then I took biomechanics at University of Ottawa, but they said, when I got there, they told me, well, you have to do a year in engineering first, given your background. That almost killed me, Brian. I failed every midterm exam at the university in the first year.
All the math?
Yeah, I hadn't done that stuff before. But my next mentor was a roommate in electrical engineering, and he was a musician who decided, I think I really want to be a sound engineer, because he realized he couldn't make a living. And he taught me, trig identities and Z transform, and all the things that you need to do well in university math. Anyway, it just kept going. And then when I was at University of Ottawa, I played on a professor's team, and we played with some players from University of Waterloo. My next mentor appeared in the dressing room.
You played what?
Hockey now.
Hockey.
For the professor's team. They needed a couple more players, and I got chosen as one of the grad students to fill the roster. And again, not to be a great hockey player, but whatever. I qualified. I was good enough to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I sat beside Bob Norman, and he was just starting spine studies at the University of Waterloo. And then I ended up
That sounds familiar.
there.
Spine studies at Waterloo.
Yeah. Anyway, I became a professor, and then in my late 50s, I felt life passing me by, and I thought I want to do something else. And what I really wanted to do was to build stuff. And I became a construction worker for my wife. You know my wife Catherine very well, and we have a couple of properties where I build things for her. And now
That's a very funny line, by the way. I hope the people appreciate that you became a construction worker for your wife.
Yes,
That's great.
I studied to try and become the best professor. So to summarize all of this, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but I'm enjoying myself. I maybe created the opportunity to get some mentors, and then I listened to them, and I allowed people I respected to influence me and not get influenced by the ones that I didn't respect, or I knew they weren't on the right path. And see, it was attitude. I've always been that curious person that sometimes has gotten me into trouble. I would be seen as a bit of a pain in the ass. Or I was the guy who was going to keep investigating and probing this system until I understood it. And if I don't understand, okay, I'm going to try this experiment to get into it. I'm going to try that experiment to get into it. You were an experiment in progress. You were a very unique, injured...
Definitely unique.
You're very unique, but you were an injured athlete where you'd failed all the traditional approaches to getting you better, but damn it, I had the attitude that we were going to keep probing, and I wasn't going to give up on you. And I also saw it in your eyes that you weren't going to give up either. You were
Yeah.
dogged, and you
Can
kept
you believe that
at
was
it.
10.5 years ago?
Yeah, I do. I have a sense of time. And
What is factually correct?
yeah. Anyway, and I still just enjoy probing things, and I'm building a bridge now between those two islands that you've visited. And I decided I'm going to do a suspension bridge, steel.
Have some guy wires?
And it's all on tensile guy wires, exactly right. So I've designed it, and I'm welding it up, and that's my current project. And then when I'm done that, I will get curious on how to build something really well. And in the meantime, a few athletes are going to come in and out of my life, and they will be experimental projects to really probe and see if I can assist them to have their best life.
Stu, thank you so much. I know that your time is limited and everyone's wanting to get a piece, but I appreciate it. This is a unique conversation, so thank you for that.
Well, thanks for bringing it out, and I may or may not allow you to hold my feet to the fire.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please like my content, share my content. Check out powerxstrength.com for more information. Book a consult with me. Check out my CBD products. Check out my books. And thank you so much.